And starting video.
Yes, see who's there too.
And that's Jason.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I was in things, so I didn't pull anything up.
Don't worry. I'm muting.
You're it's underneath, over 3 hours ago there. There's no way. Yeah.
Did she get out? Zoom with them? Good.
Yeah, the mayor is
Okay,
just.
just call to order and, all right, it is 4:02 on March 11th, 2024. We will call to order this Lake County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Edwards,
Here?
Marufo,
Here.
Stevens,
There's no here.
we see Steve.
We see Steve.
And county commissioners, Mudge, Marcella,
Here.
and Fiedler.
Ann, can you hear me? This is Steve Stevens.
Yes, Steve, we can hear you now.
Okay,
Thank you.
sorry, I was on mute. I didn't know I was on mute.
No worries. Welcome and thank you.
All right, any changes or additions to the agenda?
So this evening, staff would like to ask the county attorney to do some introductions to the planning commission and the board.
Yes, thanks, Ann. It's my great pleasure today to introduce you to Ruth Bourne and Melissa Decker, who are the new deputy county attorneys. And they bring with them such a wealth of experience with land use matters and public works and that type of thing. Ruth Bourne will be the primary point of contact initially for CPD and for your matters. So you can expect to be working quite a bit with her. Melissa's also got experience with water and environmental work as well. So there will be a number of things that we'll be tag teaming on. But so there are 3 of us now, and the way that ended up working was that all of us are 3/4 time employees. So that means that you get essentially 2 attorneys for the price of 2. I mean, 3 attorneys for the price of 2 in the budget by reorganizing the positions that way. So we have kind of divvied up the different departments and boards and that type of thing. And so, as I mentioned, Ruth will be your initial primary point of contact for planning commission, CPD type matters and such. And so I don't know if either of them want to say anything, hello or what?
We're happy to be here.
Not as happy as I am.
I'm sure that's true.
Yes.
Very
Okay, so
good.
thank you. I just wanted to have the opportunity to come in person and make that introduction so that you wouldn't be wondering who these people are sitting in the audience. So,
Thank you, Chris. Welcome,
Thank you.
ladies.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. No other changes or additions to the agenda?
Nope.
All right. And we call for approval of the minutes for the February 26th, 2024 meeting.
You do have a quorum, so
Somebody?
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for the February 26th meeting?
This is Jason. I make a motion to approve those minutes.
And a second?
This is Steve. I second it.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Minutes are approved. Updates from staff.
very good. So we have a few things to let you know. I was hoping that Heather was going to be able to be here this evening because I was really going to call on her to kind of share our community builder experience. So we spent 3 intensive workshop days in Glenwood Springs with various leaders from the county in different, representing different departments, and CPD was one. And so this was a very intensive workshop that we spent 2.5 days really kind of identifying kind of where our community is at. We talked about, we've had a lot of changes at the county, we've had a lot of changes in our community, and so we arrived on setting a work plan around really kind of working first kind of internally, then going out to our partners, and then going out to the community with the idea of setting the kind of identifying community values and kind of some visionary work, but really talking about, we identified things like enhancing the livability of the community for locals, looking at what kind of economic development that we are looking to attract, retain, and sustain. Some of the challenges that we have around infrastructure needs, feeling development pressures, lack of some resources, and just so many priorities kind of vying for the county's attention. So we kind of identified all of those items and started in a more kind of manageable approach of creating a readiness for going into the big lift of updating our comp plan. And so one of the steps that we're going to talk about eventually that staff's going to be bringing to you is really kind of going through what a comp plan is for any of you that haven't participated in the process before, what's expected as a planning commissioner. And we're talking about doing some joint work sessions with City P&Z and County P&Z to just be ready for the task at hand in 2025. So really excited. There's kind of stay tuned. There's going to be more to come. CPD will take the lead in some of these kind of internal tasks to get us ready to go out for conversations with our partners. And there'll be plenty of work for everyone, so don't be worried. We'll have lots to do as your schedules allow. But it was just a really informative time, and everyone there really worked hard for those kind of intense days. So really looking forward to bringing all of that information forward. And then on the land use application front, you've got a lot of development kind of knocking at the door right now. We do have our next regular meeting. We will be hearing Angel View 2 major subdivision. Again, just to refresh everybody's memory, there is an overview sheet out to you. You can look at the submittal documents, that an application of everything that's been submitted by the developer at this point. We are in the review stage with all of the referral agencies and working on the staff report that'll be forthcoming. We've really identified some key stakeholders that we really want to kind of dive into discussions. One of the highlights of this community is that it encompasses a part of the Colorado Trail, and the property owner has a portion of the trail going through, and just kind of what does that mean, and how will we look at the potential of this being included in their open space management plan. And then also, of course, we're looking at the possibility of, again, kind of our first gated exclusive community that is really looking to market to second or third and fourth homeowners, right? So we definitely have a very new, interesting kind of development idea in front of us. So that public hearing is set for our next regular scheduled meeting. And then I don't think that we have anything quite earmarked yet on the calendar. However, it's really coming. We have a conversion. We just took in an application on repurposing a local historic lodging purpose-built motel in town. that is looking to change to multifamily and become a workforce housing, potential housing opportunity for our community. And so this requires a conditional use permit, and we're just right now in the review of that submittal. We are also, we've provided a second completeness review to Titan Gold, and they would like to expand their operations at their Box Creek site to include gravel mining. And so we are in the process of having discussions with them. We've met with CJK Milling, which will be the mill that is looking at the cyanide leach process to process the waste rock piles on the east side of Leadville, Lake County, and transport the materials to the mill. So the cyanide leach process is a new process. They had a previous CUP, but it did not consider this type of processing, nor some of the improvements that they want to put on the mine boundary site. Then we do have at least 2 more major subdivisions that are in various stages of readying their application, but we've had preliminary conversations with. One is across from Westwoods subdivision. It is a 42, I think it's 42 single family, a mix of single family and duplex units. And then we have very early conceptual ideas of what they're referring to as the Clapper subdivision, which is 87 units. And it's a property that's adjacent to Jim Valley subdivision on the north side of the county. So those are just kind of some highlights. We also have had a pre-application meeting with White Mountain Tours, and they're looking to apply for a conditional use permit for an additional parcel that they use for base of operations for their outfitting and guiding operation. And so we've had just a pre-app meeting with them as well. So we definitely have some different applications. Is there any other one that you can think of, CC, that?
High Country.
High Country Snowmobile, they are also looking to come in and apply for conditional use permit for their outfitting and guiding operation. And both of these will also be applying for the first commercial recreation permits that we have, because they do use a portion of the county roads, concurrent to their operation. So those, I think, are the only ones that I can think of. We are implementing our short-term rental regulations, brand new policies. And I'll defer to CC for just a quick update. She didn't know I was gonna do that, but.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, we implemented our new short-term rental regulations, and so far 12 applications have come in. But only 2 licenses have been issued, 1 primary and 1 standard. The other 10 are either pending a fire safety check or approval from David Wilson, our environmental health specialist, who is in the process of reviewing their septic system. And I think that's about it. I think Steve Boyle was out last week, so a lot of these are just waiting on the fire safety walkthrough. We've also reached out to current license holders who have said they would fall under the primary license category to see if they would voluntarily submit documentation required for a primary license in order to free up a couple more standard licenses. So currently 16 standard licenses are available with 10 applications in the queue.
And the cap ended at 130?
135.
135.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's great question, Joey. The Board of County Commissioners did approve your recommendation with one slight change, and that was lowering the cap to 135. So that's, but that's the only change that they made to your recommendation. And then you had a question during the deliberation about, just making sure that the community knows the pathway forward in order to, address any kind of compliance concerns. And so, what I'd like to do is send you a link to our web, based portal where you can lodge a complaint if you have one. And as well, we'll probably just send you a couple links to just kind of show you what's currently online regarding short-term rentals, and then the pathway forward to reach out to CPD if you're either a property owner or, you know, someone that wants to express a concern, either find out more information as a short-term rental license holder, or you've got a concern. So we'll go ahead and just shoot that out to everyone, then follow up and see, you know, if there's any additional work that you think that needs to be done on enforcement. You know, that was just one kind of area that you had all discussed in your deliberation that you wanted to make sure that was well understood, as well as would be easy to implement. So we'll follow up, we'll continue to follow up and make sure that there aren't any outstanding questions from the planning commission on that. And we'll continue, Cece's already has it in her schedule to be doing updates to the Board of County Commissioners, and we'll make sure that we're sharing those with you. We're gonna really be tracking the progress of short-term rentals and reporting out on how they're doing. I think that is all of kind of bringing you up to speed, other than, we have a couple other really exciting announcements, and that is that we, were successful in our, planning capacity grant that we applied for. We were awarded that by DOLA. What this, gives CPD the ability to is to, bring in a housing director that will oversee the Board of County Commissioners' housing initiatives that they have set for 2024 and subsequent years. And as well as it allows us to bring in planning capacity to assist with affordable housing projects. We have a requirement out under our Prop 123 housing commitment to increase our affordable housing stock within a 3-year period. And so we would have planning staff that would be just assisting the planning director and making sure that we're meeting our goals and objectives. And that is on top of the county has approved staff to apply for or to try to recruit a planner too. Right now we are going out for technical assistance when we need more planning capacity, but we are trying to recruit an actual FTE with qualifications for a planner 2 position. So those are kind of, and the other exciting thing is that we were just awarded $850,000 in congressional funds to go towards our infill housing, community housing project. So super exciting kind of updates about some funding that we've been awarded.
And that housing director remains Jackie.
So if Jackie would be, this is a new position.
Okay.
If
that's what I
Jackie
was
would be, interested, she would have to, so we will be putting out a job description and posting this position.
wondering. Okay, it
for
is
the
separate
department.
from the housing authority.
Right, the housing authority will still have their executive housing director, Jackie's capacity as executive housing director. This would be a housing position that is just working on the whole litany of county projects. You know, we've kind of talked about the ball field master plan for housing, recreation, open space, different opportunities there. And then all of the infill sites that we have where we're looking to build the 22 units in the next year and a half.
So
2 years.
potentially we have 2 housing directors now.
So we have one that would be over the regional housing authority,
Right.
and then one that is just earmarked
Just
for
for
county
CPD.
projects. Yeah, the housing work is quite robust. And I think to get things over the finish line, we kind of have to,
Sure.
we're gonna have to work on, have a little more capacity to implement. So, that's kind of the thought. And the county also has, done several new housing initiatives. They have, looked at, opportunities for sustainability and helping to, provide, low or no interest, loans or funds available to homeowners for sustainability. And, there's several different housing initiatives, and at some point it'd be great to kind of, roll those out and make sure that the planning commission is, once we would seat that position, kind of report back to the planning commission and give them an update of, where we are on the infill sites, those housing projects, and where we are with the initiatives.
Great.
So, we'll look to expand that and bring that, information back as soon as we've found the right candidate, to help with all of those kind of things. Also, it takes a lot of, capacity to be at the ready for a lot of the, funding opportunities that are available to help us.
Full-time job all by itself.
Yes, yeah, it's a big lift. Housing is a very big lift.
All right, is anything else on updates?
I think that's it. I promised to be short and sweet, and I'm going a little long.
And is there any old business to address?
No,
Moving on to new business.
very good. So the, information that what we're doing is just adding some clarity. There has been some discussion within the community about, and I think even internally, our worst worry is that we, spend a lot of time and resources in developing plans. Like, for instance, we have a housing needs assessment that's underway right now, and it's an update. We have a wildfire planning, wildfire mitigation plan to be exact. And a transportation plan. We have a lot of different, plans, and we want to make sure, I think that we're very explicit in our development code, that, when you're looking at your findings, that we don't just reference compliance with the comp plan. I would say it's inferred in the work, and staff will always bring that forward, but I think it creates just a good communication tool and expectation setting, both for the development community and for, the findings associated with an, application. So we're suggesting that wherever in the code, that it's appropriate, that there is a finding associated with compliance with the comprehensive plan, again, our master plan, our advisory master plan, that we have now, modified that language to read as follows. The land use process is, I thought I had the exact language. Oh, it does, I'm sorry. The land use processes that have this criteria shall be in substantial conformance with the express purposes, intents, goals, and policies of the Lake County Comprehensive Plan and any applicable ancillary county adopted documents pertaining to natural resource protection, affordable housing, infrastructure management, or any area specific community plans. And so it's kind of a housekeeping almost, type of code amendment that staff is suggesting. But I will say that, we incentivized the PUD process, as many of you will remember, the planned unit development process, around affordable housing instead of coming in with an inclusionary housing policy. So now for things like increased density, we ask a development to participate in one of our, goals that we've outlined within the code, to be able to, for the county to consider things such as that. And if there's been kind of, picking up on that some development applications are thinking, well, then maybe I should go major subdivision and try to make sure, that I don't have to deviate from zoning in any way, shape, or form, and that might excuse me from, looking at the community as a whole and what their needs are. And so I think that this is kind of a, again, we don't have an inclusionary policy, but this is a way to consider, that we want to make sure in our findings and our decisions that we have been mindful of the other things that are happening in our community, and that, we're looking for substantial conformance with, those, plans and policies as well as our comp plan. Does that make sense? I mean, it's like I said, it's not a major change. but I do think hopefully it will be more explicit.
It's just a reference back to the fact that we're gonna focus on the master plan. And do you think that that will help address major subdivisions to be more community-centric?
Right, yes, absolutely, and I do think that what I think that I had what we were tending to see is a way in which development might be able to sidestep looking at like what our community housing needs are and things like that, so absolutely, yes. So it's, in addition to the comp plan, all of these, I would say that the majority of all of these plans should be in alignment with our comp plan, of course. But let's be mindful that when we're making decisions, that we're thinking about the big picture and that, again, let's also make sure that we're bringing those plans to the forefront. We're getting ready to go. It almost seems like this will absolutely be part of our comp plan process that we're getting ready to go into, but let's go ahead and start now with kind of, being mindful of making sure. So I think it's on both sides. I think it's in our decision-making, let's make sure that we're bringing in those, the whole picture of our community when we're making those decisions, and we have a legal finding basis. I have 3 attorneys in the room and I just said legal. So, as well as for development themselves, we steer as staff and provide them guidance on how to be compliant with the code. This is a way that we can be very explicit about it.
No, that's great. Chapin has communicated similarly, so that's wonderful. You guys
Oh,
are
yay!
looking at the same things. That's great.
And we'll be, I actually sent Chapin a message today on just kind of a side note that, immediately we're gonna try to look at those city planning, city and county planning efforts together as we're starting to do this major comp plan journey, because it's
So we really
a
appreciate that help.
marathon, not a sprint, so hang on.
Very good. What else do we have?
That is the only thing, and then just if you have any other questions about it, I am looking for support, because I will be bringing this for you for action at our next meeting, but it has been noticed, and so if you have any questions or concerns, I just wanted to make sure that I did have the support of the planning commission before I introduce it at our next meeting.
Jason and Steve online, any comments? Is there anything that you don't understand about the initial proposal?
I don't have any
No,
comments.
none here as well.
That's pretty short and sweet.
I know, I think this is a record. Just to make up,
I know. Set up unrealistic expectations.
yeah, this is to make up for those.
Don't make up for it. That's fine.
This is to make up for all those long nights.
Anything else you want to add to that, Ann?
No, I don't, I just said
Everything's
thank
covered.
you, and thank you all for your hard work on short-term rentals. It's so exciting to have that policy work over the finish line. Really excited about that, and so thank you so much, and like I said, we'll be reporting back on it as well as on OHV, just to kind of give you a heads up on both, to make sure that we don't have any unintended consequences around our new policies.
Nope, that's great. Before we adjourn, Jason or Steve, any comments? Anything to add?
No, I'm good in this end.
I'm good as
Steve?
well.
Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. At 4:31 PM, we will adjourn this meeting.
Thank
That was
you.
short and sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.